Now that we have our tires back on in front and we have our car back down to the ground, we got our string ran on the driver's side of the car. Let's see how we did. Let's check our string on the front tire. Looks really good. It's just barely touching the tire. That one's just, yeah, it's barely touching the tire too, so that's good. This one is barely touching the tire and barely touching the tire on the back side, so the driver's side's good. So now let's string the passenger side and see how we did on that side. Now that we have the string re-ran on the passenger side, let's see how we did on this side. Looking at our string on our passenger side, the string's touching the back side of the back tires. Let's check the front one. String is touching the front of the tire. We have a little gap here on the back side of the tire. So we over adjusted just slightly, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the string here. We're going to jack the car back up, remove the tire. And what we're going to do is we're going to adjust that back out one turn, and then we're going to restring it and check it again. Okay, now that we got it jacked back up and the tire off on the passenger side, what we're looking at is the tie rod end here. We're going to loosen this lock nut back off of the tire rod end. And remember the last time we moved it in to get the tire to pigeon toe out, but this time it's out too far, so we want to move it out. So I'm going to take it probably 2 turns back out to bring the front of the tire back in. So let's get this tie rod end off the front end assembly and we'll go from there. Now that we have the lock nut backed off of the tie rod end, we have the tie rod end loose from the front end assembly. Remember, we need to take it out to bring the front of the tire in. So we over adjusted the first time and we're going to back it out 2 turns. So there's 1 and 2, and then put it back in the hole. And then lock the nut. We're going to lock the lock nut back up there, and then we're going to re-secure the tie rod end back to the front end assembly, and then we'll get the tire back on and restring it again and check our accuracy. Now that we got the tire back on the passenger side and lowered back down to the ground, we have our string back up on the passenger side. Let's see how we did. See how our string's doing on our tires on the passenger side since our second adjustment. Barely touching, it's good. And the back side is barely touching and barely touching. So we're really good for the passenger side. Let's take it for a drive and see how she drives.